everyone, welcome to the review. I am the 80s Transformers fan. You are watching George Reviews, and today on George Reviews we'll be taking a look at G.I. Joe Classified Retro Carded Sergeant Stalker. They finally got it right, and of course, you know, they saved it for the retro card. This is my first retro carded G.I. Joe figure that I'm going to actually open. And I know it's old hat to a lot of you guys now, but they finally did justice to the retro card. This is the Baroness. I think she was the first retro carded figure, and they gave us this flimsy, bent crap. But now we got this sturdy card. It is beautiful. Too bad I got to open it. Speaking of being beautiful, we got some artwork reminiscent of the vintage card back right here. It looks absolutely fantastic. When you swing it around, we get a file card for Lonzo R. Wilkinson, Sergeant Stalker. And oddly enough, his birthplace is Detroit, Michigan, where we are broadcasting from as I speak. Underneath the file card, we get a look at the other two figures in the wave, Cobra Commander and the Cobra Trooper. They've already taken the money out of my account as of today for Cobra Commander. Ordered two of those guys, and then the Cobra Trooper follows the week after that. Alright, the hometown hero is back. I'm going to get him open, and we are going to take a look. I'm going to do my best to preserve the packaging as much as I can, unless I get frustrated and just rip it open. A little bit more jagged than I was hoping for. But mostly intact. And hopefully still displayable. At the bottom of the bubble is this warning choking hazard label. We get one stand with the G.I. Joe star on it. Stalker, of course. Is he tied down? I don't see any tie downs. I'm just going to pull him out. He looks great. Finally done justice. His packed-in accessories are large machine gun. I don't know exactly what that is, but it's doing what it does. Looks like a holster for that large machine gun. Submachine gun, if I don't get that correct, don't hate me. One knife. And a handgun. Looks like a semi-automatic pistol with some huge suppressor on it. And this completes the unboxing portion of the video. Alright, let's take a look at Stalker. Bring him closer. I believe this is the exact same head sculpt from before, like from head to toe. I mean, obviously it's the same guy, but I mean, everything's done the same, except for they've given him the 1980s retro look. Now the face is, to me, the face was never that great on the original figure. I was hoping they would like change it or update it or do something. This guy, he looks like he's in his 50s when he should look like he's in his late 20s, early 30s or something like that. Maybe even mid 30s. And then he has this stern, angry, like this is just a typical black look on the face for toys. You know, I don't know. Doesn't quite capture the character for me. And the beret is removable. You can take it off his head. Exact same from the previous figure. The rank is done in gold. And then, oh, look at this. Check out the haircut. What is this, like Blade? What brother has this part? You know what I mean? What is that? Is it on the other side? Oh, and it's just on one side. He's not faded or blended. I mean, man, what's going on here? This how they doing my boy. Oh, no. Let's get this back on his head. The harness around his chest is a separate piece, exact same from the previous figure. You can plug the gun holster into the bag, goes through here, and it goes through there. Why not? Let's do it now. And there we go. He has like, what is this, a flash grenade right here. A couple pouches. Then the belt coming to his legs. There's a couple holsters. Each side, one for the knife, one for the gun. The boots are a separate plastic. The body is a green plastic with a darker green camo printed on it. And the boots. Let's take a look at Stalker's articulation. You can look up this far. All these G.I. Joe Classified articulations are pretty darn good. Not much down. See if we can activate the neck. A little bit down. Shoulders. 360. Has a little bit, not a butterfly joint, but like a hinge cover to bring it out and bring it in. Not a lot across the body at all. I think it's just covering the gap basically. 360 bicep, double jointed elbow, wrist articulation, in and out hinge at the wrist, ab crunch to the back, waist articulation, legs, drop down at the hip, upper thigh swivel, double jointed knee, boot cut, ankle, very nice. All right, before I move on, I want to apologize for the lighting in this video. I have a lighter backdrop and the camera auto adjust keeps making the foreground darker, and I'm kind of getting tired of wrestling with it. So when it fades to dark, just understand that's what happened. Anyway, accessories. I'm going to start with his knife, and this knife kind of sucks. It's all thick. It looks like it can cut absolutely nothing. I mean nothing. It's all black plastic. The blade is painted silver. The handle, if I can pick it up, has a little bit of molded in detailing on it. Let's get it in his hand. Should be no problem. These G.I. Joe hands have a very strong grip. They're known for the Kung Fu grip. And here we go. Yeah, and it's just, you can see it like from the back angle. It's just thick. Yeah, that kind of sucks, but I guess he's not going to cut another figure. Let's get it holstered. And it is a tight fit. Doesn't really want to go all the way. Let me see if we can. Yeah, it's kind of stopping right there. I probably could force it, but I mean, that's good enough. It's going to have to be. You can still see the blade a little bit. Then we get his handgun. The clip does not come out, but the suppressor comes off. And this little tab, if you get to bending it around, you're going to break it and it will never plug in again. Let's get it in his hand. And his hands are a little bit softer. Most of the G.I. Joe Classified figures are very hard, but his are a little bit softer than most. And there it is. And here we go. Let's get this holstered. And his pouches are very rigid. There's no give in them. They're almost as hard as I expected the hands to be. And the pistol. And there we go. Next up we have the heavier machine gun. It has a lot of molded and detailing. Very nicely done. One solid black piece except for the clip. Clip comes out, which is very nice. Bullets painted a copper type gold. Not quite gold, not quite copper. Somewhere in the middle. Like they should be. It looks like actual bullets. Look, it looks a lot better than Rock and Roll's clip pack actually. Clip that back in. It looks like the bullet is feeding through, which is very nice. Get in his hand, go for the same hand. I'm right-handed. He's right-handed because I'm right-handed. And here we go. Bam, there we go. And let's see if we get this stored on his back. I think this is the gun that goes in here. I don't know, don't hold me to that. And that's about as far as it goes. This may not be the gun, but since I'm using the other gun last, this is going to have to go in here. And here is the last gun. This is my favorite one. The clip is removable, which is so cool, but I just don't want to lose it. It has a lot of molded in detailing in it. It even has a hole in case you wanted to add a blast accessory, which they should have gave us. Let's get it in his hand. Finger on the trigger and boop, boop, boop. You know I got to give the urban sound effect. Let's see if we get two hands on it. And depending on how you want your display options to go, he can hold it at the clip, and you can have him remove the clip actually. Now hold on to it and like he's either taking it out or putting it in. I did purchase the previous release of Stalker number 46 in the Alliance's packaging. Oh, look at this weird. Even the artwork was weird. You know what I mean? Like, he was down on this from the beginning. This was a little bit better on the side of the box. Back of the package. It was number 46 in the wave. And I wound up getting this guy at a toy show had a ton of them, and he was giving away for $10. And I was excited to get it for $10 at a toy show. Then later on, he went on clearance everywhere. I think he was down like $5 in some places because I mean, just because of the outfit. Now, the ironic thing is, if they had dropped this and made this a chase, this thing would be going for like 50, 60 bucks. But as a standalone figure, nobody wanted to pick this guy up, and I was hesitant myself. But anyway, since we have this guy, let's go ahead and do a versus battle, which I know this guy is going to lose. Let's get him out of the box. So this is like a double unboxing and double review. We're just going to take a look. Stuff going everywhere. Here's our Stalker. I'm going to pull all the stuff out and cut. We just seen it already. Alright, because I can never do things the easy way and I turn this into a versus battle, we got to take a look at the packaging. And hands down, I'm going with the retro card. I'm old school. I'm 80s Transformers fan. I'm all things old school. Retro card wins. And it don't just win, it's just better. The card is better. The artwork on the card is definitely. Look at this guy. Like, what the hell is up with, hey man, what's going on? Who got my lighter? This one is just way better, and we get the round one of the packaging goes to the retro card. So moving on to the comparisons, the first thing that stood out to me, there's a skin tone difference. This one is a little bit more matted and a little bit darker. Hopefully my camera's picking it up and you guys can see that difference. And then other than just the retro deco camo on this guy with the different greens, the feel of the figure, the older figure feels like it has superior quality. And the beret, if I reach for this guy's beret, comes right off in my hand. If I reach for this guy's beret, I lift him up. It's on there very securely. Let me see if I can bring this beret over to this head, put it on here, and it's the same thing. Exact same mold, just it just fits different. I don't know if it's because of mold degradation. And speaking of mold degradation and everything else, the pouches over here are more rigid. If you get in the center of the thigh, it's gonna hold on. But like these are like just harder. And over here, you can feel the difference. And this knife sheaths all the way in. Bam, no problem. And over here, it kind of gets stuck. And I believe that's because of the rigidness. I probably could force it or heat it. Yeah, there we go. There's still a little bit of blade showing, but yeah, you get the idea. It's just a little bit different in the quality of the plastic. And you're gonna think I'm tripping, but the retro card guy is a little bit taller. I've smashed the legs down several times. I know they're adjustable at the hips, but this guy keeps coming up a little bit shorter. And speaking of coming up short, this guy Barber was on that bullshit. I pointed out the weirdness of his haircut. This guy has a better haircut over here. He's actually faded. And I know a lot of people might not care, but it matters to a brother. Like, this guy's actually faded all the way around. Look at that. It's blended very well. And over here, they was just like, forget that. We're not going the extra mile. But what's bizarre on this guy, they painted the part. It looks more like a scar. So is that a scar? I could be wrong. But anyway, this guy is well faded. So much better job over here. I might actually have to take this head and put it on this guy. And there is one last physical difference. This guy's wearing gloves, which is very cool. Either way is cool to me. So I don't know if I can really give this guy points for that. I don't know if I'm just hating. But gloves and no gloves. And it is molded in. It's just not like a start and stop of a paint app. He has molded in gloves on the standard classified version. The last comparison between these guys is the only difference in the accessories. With the retro card, we get the stand. And the stand is very cool for your shelf when you want to display your figures standing up. And you don't have to worry about them falling over and having that domino effect. And I don't have that problem. I mean, sometimes getting one off the shelf, some will fall down. But it's not a big issue for me. So in that regard, the scarf wins the accessory battle because it's the only difference. So got to give it to the scarf, poncho, whatever it is. It is very nicely molded and detailed. The only thing that kind of sucks is they made it really thick, and I think it would have been better done if they had like just shelled it out some. But it still looks good. So he wins the accessory battle. So all right, we got the retro card wins the packaging battle. This guy actually wins the head sculpt battle, but overall look of the figure, I guess he still loses. And he wins the accessory battle as well, which is kind of shocking. Alright, this is going to be my last comparison. On the box art, he's wearing a silver harness and holsters and even a silver gun. And it's kind of odd that they put him with black weapons in the packaging. So I borrowed the standard G.I. Joe Classified figures armor and just swapped it over here. And not necessarily sure how I feel about it. This gray has a green tinge to it, so it's not quite as silver as the box. And then the gun is black. We don't get a chance to see how that all looks together. But I kind of do like it, but I think I'm going to stay with the black on this guy. Put everything back to normal. But here's a look at that in case you were interested. It's time to give Stalker the size up and the rundown. And if you know my channel, you know how this is going to go. From Marvel Legends, here is Blade, representing McFarlane's DC Multiverse, John Stewart Green Lantern. From Star Wars The Black Series, Lando Calrissian. And from Transformers 1986 Studio Series, here is Jazz. And yeah, I went there. Now for some Joes. First up is Sergeant Slaughter, Breaker, Snake Eyes, and Storm Shadow. I feel like this is a pretty good mixture of height scaling. Time to close out this review of G.I. Joe Classified Series Retro Carded Sergeant Stalker. Love the figure. Only physical flaw I found with my copy of the figure, well no, I found two. The harness on his back seems to, I don't know if it's being made different, but it's not actually broken. It's just like not finished being poured into the mold or something. And then the front of his hairline was a little bit off on this figure. I don't know if I highlighted doing the review, but I noticed it doing some comparisons in the heads. And then this video turned into a versus battle, but this is mainly for the vintage card back version. But it turned out I learned a few things while comparing the two. Like the hair is actually done better on the 46 release of Stalker. And then the plastic and the materials feel a lot better or higher quality than the retro carded release, which is kind of odd. But other than that, I think the guns and the weaponry were pretty much exactly the same. But as far as a retro carded version, I definitely recommend it. Haven't seen it in stores yet, but it's still up on Hasbro Pulse. He's definitely another solid entry and a very classic and important character, at least in my eyes, in the ranks of the Joes, and the absolute must-have for any G.I. Joe collector. And with that, that's all I got. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys for joining me for another episode of George Reviews, and I'll catch you in the next one. As promised, we are going to put Stalker back in his packaging. And if you wanted to display him after opening on card, you still can. You can hang it or you can set it on your shelf.